Hey guys, David here, and welcome to Digital Outlook. Well, guys, as you can tell, I'm not coming out at my normal time and get my video out because Caleb, my son, and I were over here. We were working on a big solar project that we have going out here on the ranch and just getting a lot done. We love being self-sufficient out here, but just look at this gorgeous sky. I mean, it is just beautiful. And many a night, Judy and I can be found just sitting on the front of that porch, watching the sun go down. And what a beautiful horizon it is. Guys, you got to get out there and enjoy the nature that God's certainly given us. Now, having said all that, guys, I'll tell you something else that's really beautiful. What is going on in this ecosystem right now? Because when you pull back the curtain, you see behind the scenes, boy, does it ever tell a bullish story. 716 whale transaction, guys, were just recorded. And get this, if each and every one of them was over $1 million each. That is amazing. Absolutely phenomenal. And of course, right now, today, we're hearing a lot of folks crying about, oh, the pressure on the price. Well, it's not just XRP. The whole markets wide, and not just crypto, are really feeling a lot of pressure. In fact, Bitcoin down to what, 90-some thousand dollars? Here we are, XRP at $2.16. And so I know a lot of people are just crying, oh my gosh, the sky is falling. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, the sky is not falling. That is for sure. You got whales gobbling up. You think 716 various different transactions for $1 million each. You're talking what, $750 million going in there into XRP, and of course a lot of it over-the-counter trading and moving it from one wallet to the other and all that. But it just tells you, look, if the whales are out there buying it like they are, and they're putting in literally tens, hundreds of millions of dollars, guys, do you think that they're worried? Should you and I be afraid of our few $1,000 investment? No, we shouldn't. What we need to be is strategic, like I always say. And like I was saying this morning, guys, one thing that we experienced there last time, when it fired off, man, it was gangbusters. And boy, does it ever feel like it had now, what it felt like way back then, right at the very time that you thought nothing was going to happen, guys, is when it absolutely exploded. I kid you not. In fact, remember this. In December of 2020, the SEC had dropped the lawsuit on Ripple, of course, and the price of XRP absolutely plummeted. It went from, I think, 50, 60 cents down to 17.48 cents. Now, there were a lot of people at the time thinking XRP was going to drop under 10 cents. Yes, that is exactly what the sentiment was, that it was just never going to be able to recover from this. It was going to absolutely, most definitely get designated as a security, and it was game over. Do you realize, like I like to point out, 4 months later, it was $1.97. Can you imagine with all that pressure that was on there? Well, how many people do you think sitting back there at that time really thought that was what was going to happen to XRP? Well, I can tell you guys, most didn't. In fact, a lot of people out of absolute terror and fear literally capitulated their positions and walked away from XRP, missed out on a 1,200% return in only 4 short months. That was massive. And by the way, it's with the SEC lawsuit on it. No one knew where it was going to go back then, guys. Remember that. And on top of that, by the way, for those that were new, XRP wasn't even available for you to buy. In fact, it was delisted from practically every U.S. exchange. The only one that had it was Uphold, and they were limiting purchases to only $500 worth of XRP at a time. And it just rocketed off when most folks least expected, and it feels just like it did now. It feels just like it did back then. Guys, I do believe we are going to see another major move in this cycle. And I do believe that it is going to fire off, and we're going to see some monumental numbers. But I'll tell you what, for every bull market, guys, like I say, there is a bear market, and you have got to be ready for that, keeping yourself mentally prepared for it. And I was there, I saw it. I know the narrative now is, hey, that's not, XRP is meant for so much more greatness. It's never going to come back down and on and on. And by the way, for a lot of that, I agree with that. Judy and I are big time holders in XRP. Are you kidding me? We put our money where our mouth is, that is for sure. And if this thing's going down, then I guess we're all going down together. We are very, very vested in the space, to be sure. But one thing I can tell you guys, it's the environment that has to be there for us to actually see that staying power up there. And that means regulatory clarity, all the legislation being done. Of course, the institutional adoption and the ETFs moving in a big, big way. And by the way, retail application, where you and I could literally walk down to our corner bank practically and, be incentivized to custody our assets there of our XRP and get a reward for doing it. You see an environment like that? Yeah, absolutely. 100% for sure. We are going to see some monumental numbers. I'm talking 3, maybe even 4 digits. But guys, if we don't, then I do believe that we are going to see a major move up there. Yes, indeed, I do believe that's coming. But then I believe, guys, we are going to see a major drop back down. And that's because of the volatility in the space. That volatility is predicated by the uncertainty. And the only way we're not going to see that same level of volatility, guys, is to have the certainty, the clarity, and all the puzzle pieces in a row. That is exactly what I believe. I'm not saying that XRP will not hit some banger numbers, because I believe that it will. But I'll tell you what, we have to be in the right environment for it to stay back up there. Now, when it comes back down, is it going to drop 80 to 90% like it did in the past? Guys, I don't think so. I think what we could see is maybe a 30 to 50% reduction. But you think about this. If you were sitting on your position and you watched it absolutely take off, right? And it gets to some monumental numbers, and I mean life-changing numbers. Can you digest if that thing fell back down and you had to wait 3, 4, maybe even 5 years like Judy and I have had to do to see another bull run come to your doorstep? Could you do that? And you have to remember, we don't know what the economy is going to look like in that environment. I actually know people during that last run that were friends of mine at the time. And what happened is they watched their portfolios totally shoot off, and they could have paid their houses off. I mean in full. No more mortgage. Burning that mortgage, guys. And they were waiting on these price predictions that all these people were throwing out there. And they literally rode it all the way up. And I kid you not, they rode that thing all the way back down. Now, back there in 2021, when the economy was hurting so bad, a lot of people lost their jobs. Well, these friends, they ended up losing their job, and get this, had to sell assets for less than they even paid for it, when just a few months earlier, they could have literally gave themselves mortgage freedom, saved themselves 25 years worth of payments. Guys, you don't want that to be you. You don't want to be digesting and swallowing that pill. You want to be thinking very strategically about what your plan is. And one of the greatest favors you can ever do yourself is to get one in place. Don't delay. And a lot of people think, well, my plan is just I'm going to sell it when it's high. I'm going to tell you right now, most don't. Most don't. Guys, more people FOMO staying in than getting in. I'll tell you that right now. And so you've got to understand where we are. What is going on in these markets? What are the big influencing factors? Are we there yet? Because yes, we will get there. I believe it 100%. And we got a bag to hold and a bag to sell. And boy, do we have some big time goals just like you do. And I'll tell you what, do you think we don't feel it? Of course we feel it. We've just been here so long that we know exactly what we hold, and we're not getting shaken up and we're not getting shaken out. I'll tell you that right now. And guys, if it does go lower, it's buying opportunities. That's what Judy and I are looking at. We're not panicked. We're not filled with fear. We're not looking down. Oh my God, not on your life. We are excited as excited could be, and as bullish as you can imagine. But guys, I'll tell you what, there will be an opportunity there. And that's where you want to be strategic in it. And we have helped so many people get there. And like I say, we got that coaching there. If it interests you, that's where you and I meet one-on-one for that 1 hour over Zoom. And we take a look at your portfolio. We're making sure that it is balanced towards your goals. We share with you those mistakes that we made so that you don't have to fall into the same pitfalls, guys, that we did. That's why I don't want you going down the same rabbit holes that we did. And on top of that, we share some amazing techniques that are really going to help you in the space. That's for sure. You can get on the schedule right there at thedigital outlook.com. Now, something else that I have to bring out is this. Judy just landed and did an amazing interview with both Burson and Vandel Alger, Black Swan Capitalist. And you can see it on the channel as a premiere coming out tomorrow at 2 p.m. And I'm going to tell you what, guys, you do not want to miss this interview. I am not joking. It's probably one of the best ones that I have ever seen these guys do. They gave us some exclusive, and I mean very exclusive content, and so much so that there is actually, after they say their goodbyes in the interview, there's an after show where they lay some amazing stuff down, guys. You want to see that. Judy did a fantastic job. And on top of all of that, guys, our mastermind is open now. A lot of people have said, well, David, is the mastermind just, for deal flow and that? No, it isn't, guys. The stuff that we're going to be doing in that mastermind are going to be amazing. We're going to be putting training programs, bringing in special guests. On top of that, we're in the process, guys, of getting registered as investment agents so we can do this. We can actually make institutional grade custody available to everybody who wants it. No limits, no having to have only 50,000 XRP or whatever it is. No, if you had 5,000 XRP or whatever the amount is, we want to be able to bring that to the masses and at practically no cost, none of this 2 and 3%, paying on, for custody per year and that kind of thing, as cheap as we can. So we're working on a lot of things, guys, to bring that out to you. And we want you to be blessed. This is just going to be something else. The life change and the wealth transfer that's going to happen from this space is going to be phenomenal. And you want to think about getting in there with some like minds, guys. And it's not a big time fee. It's like, I think $15 or something like that a month. And you can get into the mastermind. The link is right down there in the description of this video. And guys, we just are so excited to be able to do some amazing things, and have been working on it for a very, very, very long time. This isn't just something with a feather we pulled out of our cap over here. We've been working on this for months and months and months. And guys, we are ready to go because it is absolute go time. Guys, they are kicking the tires. They are lighting the fires. And I do believe anytime at all, boom, it could happen. And you want to be ready for that. So guys, I'll tell you what, I sure hope you're having an amazing evening. That is for sure. And until tomorrow, when we're going to have another fantastic coffee chat, guys, have a fabulous one and take care.